trusted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
runs of success that they've had. Looking at some of their games last year, they didn't really play much for top 25 teams. So the opportunity here to get some experience against some of these teams, especially before the playoffs, really gonna be fun to see what they're gonna pull out here, and how this kind of helps prepare them.
So McEwen just playing soft weight, just like a maybe hack board, just trying to chisel in, bump, bump. Oh, so close. Needed to curl a half an inch more.
So close.
Just caught a little too much of that first red and missed the angle by a sliver. If that curls just a bit more, he taps that red up, probably good enough for shot. However, it does make it difficult for a second yellow point. Either draw the side of the button or play a tap, but it looks like they're opting for the draw.
Just should be okay playing if, as long as they're just playing the correct weight here, that they shouldn't have to worry about bumping red into shot, but just got to be careful you don't crash too soon on that top red and that's just barely biting the forefoot.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad luck, but this is one where if you think that's going to be part of the if that's a threat, then you can give up on it early and make sure you hit your top yellow and not chap the reds.
Sweepers on this one real early.
Yeah, this is one where you, like we said, it's curling already, so they're probably just going to give up on it and let it run into the pile before you give up a second point. But one on the board for Team McDonald.
What do you got? You got one, you got two,
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
And we are back here in the second end. So we had a force of one for McDonald, which means the hammer flips back over to Mike McEwen here into the second. We see ourselves getting a classic center guard, corner guard start from the two teams. Second rock from Cameron Olafson. Looks like it's going to just a hair light crash here onto the center guard. Daniel Marsh does make the hit, rolls over, but finds a way just to be right in between the red and the yellow rocks. It looks like they have about a rock and a half there, maybe a hair less than that to make through for Elias's first rock here. See if he can get this, make this hit, roll a little bit towards the center. Great job to hold that line from the sweepers there. With that rock spilling out, now an opportunity for McEwen to kind of get the end set up a little bit more how he wants it to be set up. Kind of go on the offensive now with Hammer. Just going to try and draw right under that corner guard, layer between that red-yellow port. Really nice weight selection there. I like that down weight. It's tough shot to hit, to be able to hit that and stick around. Kind of forces, but Mill not necessarily forces play, but at least brings one rock into play away from those guards a little bit.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to navigate a hole like that. Playing the softer weight gives you a little bit more control with the brooms, and you can help it curl a little bit. You can fight the curl, but if you throw it too hard, basically where you let it go is where it's going to go. So playing the soft weight, that nice control, you were able to navigate the port, and you're not going to roll so far. Like you said, you get to stick around. McEwen, anyway, ignoring it, trying to use the corner again. Through the hole and just need to finish it. Walk it right over. And I would say that's pretty good.
Really nicely buried. Just a hair behind the tee. If you're McDonald, do you need to tap this, or even if just coming down to it, is that still just fine if they just come right down to it?
I don't think you have to move it at all. If you can lock it on and be shot, that's a really good result. A little bump's not too bad as long as you don't move it too far, but I think ideally you want to be frozen an inch towards the center line. Mostly buried and locked on would be really good for McDonald here. This has a long way to curl, though.
Yeah, it looks like he kind of set it out a little bit on his release.
Now it's game on for McEwen. You're going to see him lob another one in behind there. Especially with those guards staggered the way they are. This is where you can get greedy.
Yeah, those angles are set up really nicely to have anything behind it be really nicely protected. So instead, electing to, looks like, draw to the open side on top of that other yellow.
Yeah, that's, I mean, your other option, if you can freeze on the open yellow, it's still going to be tough to remove, just not as tough. This is kind of like your guaranteed deuce. If you played the other one and suck one in behind, you could be looking at 3 or more. But this is a slightly more conservative play.
The rock just had a little too much legs on that rock coming down here.
Yeah, just a little heavy, and thus didn't grab the curl early enough. 6 feet less weight, I think that's perfect, but was not to be. So now a little get out of jail card for Team McDonald.
I think that was the first, how much did that look? I think that was the first draw that we've seen down that path. How much does that impact, kind of, is it a little bit more of a guess as to what weight to be playing into that shot there?
Could be. Like you'd think at this point, people would have a pretty good feel for all the pass and second end after they kind of used the whole sheet in the first end. So no, I just think that maybe Flash got his guess wrong, and I don't imagine the path was too much different weight wise.
Really got to go to get this past those guards. We got it now.
Goodbye. Looks pretty good. Now you just want to lock it on. No bounce. Yeah. A little too much bounce, and I actually made that red even more buried. But rolled open, which is really the unfortunate part for Team McDonald.
So I think the question here is which way is the better roll? I feel like rolling back towards the center might, just to keep some separation between those two rocks, between those reds, might be a little bit better.
Either way is fine, honestly. I think if you could roll under and lock it on, that's really going to put the screws to Jordon McDonald. I don't think that's what they're playing, however. I think they've got a little more room to play the roll back to the center line side. As long as there's no double, you're keeping your 2 or more in play.
Flash really going hard for line here.
Yeah, so this is where you call plan B. If you can get the other roll and chip it under. Don't know if that was the call or not, but it's a pretty good result.
Now it's decision time for Jordon McDonald and how he wants to play at this here on his last rock.
You can maybe see just an inch of that back red. Probably not enough to throw any weight at. But if you ever got a piece of it, you might be able to get both reds moving, but it's so difficult. So they're just going to play that heavy, maybe draw a little freeze, maybe a little bump, but try to play spoiler here to McEwen's big end.
Yep. I think if he plays essentially the same weight he just played on his last one, where it came down a little bit heavy, now you could essentially use those two reds to create a little bit more of a pocket for yourself.
Yeah, almost the same shot would do exactly, even just a foot less weight. But like you said, if you can rattle those reds around and keep your yellow in front, you'll have a little backing that will hopefully save your end.
Nice rock from McEwen. Sweepers doing their best to get it there, to get him out of jail on his last rock.
On it early. Line looks okay. They think they have to go for weight. If the weight's there, the line looks really good. Not enough for shot. Maybe good enough for second.
Yeah, certainly from the overhead, certainly looks like it's yellow sitting second here.
You see Mike indicate maybe a little tap, hit and roll on that with probably no more than like backline weight. But if you could just chip that yellow sideways and stick around, it's for three.
Exactly. You don't need to move it very far. You just have to move it as long as you hit on that, probably what you can see with that soft weight. Your rock will roll right towards the button, and that yellow just needs to get half onto the 12-foot.
Yeah, again, I think probably just through weight, back line plus, but try to hit the chunk you can see and stick around.
That's pretty close. Got to get it over.
Sneaks by the guard, gets a chunk, sticks around. Nice shot for three.
Wonderful shot from Mike McEwen here. So that's going to be a 3 for Team McEwen as we head into the third end from Edmonton.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to
everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice, to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome back. After 2 ends, Team McEwen leads 3-1 over Team McDonald. Here from the Saville Shootout, presented by Curling Stadium. This is not the first event for either team. Team McEwen 2 weeks ago was in Scotland for the Euro Super Series. They went 1-3 there. That event won by Bruce Mouat, because what hasn't Bruce Mouat won at this point?
Yeah, they're having a pretty good run over the last few years, but not unbeatable, but certainly at the top of their game.
A great example between them, Retornez. You're seeing a lot of just what, incredibly powerful front end, how important that is. And I think that's another thing that you can kind of see with these teams here, especially like you see like Colton Flash, for example, throwing third but staying on the broom for skip rocks. Just so important to have that powerful sweeper that's going to just guide rocks to wherever you need them to go.
Both those teams you mentioned, you also see the commitment level that it takes to be a top level player right now. It's almost a full-time job, and in their case, I think it is. I don't know that they're spending a lot of time in any office doing anything other than lifting weights and curling.
What a life! What a life to be to have that.
I see Instagrams from the golf course every now and then, so I guess they're not curling all the time.
That's their cross training, probably.
Yeah. So once again, you see the center guard, corner guard going up, and McDonald opting to use the corner early, which I'm a big fan of.
I think that's something that I've seen quite a bit, especially at the club level. You'll see people put up a corner guard and then just never gets put into play, never gets used. So it's always nice to see the efforts of the lead get utilized as they make the perfect corner guard and then make the come around right after.
Yeah, that's one of my absolute pet peeves is people who throw the corner and never look at it again. This is where Mike McEwen has to make a decision here, whether he wants to chase that one in the back of the rings or I'd be tempted to ignore it and try to do something with my my two reds up top. But it's all a matter of your risk tolerance and basically playing the scoreboard right now. Mike doesn't want to give up more than one, so he's going to play it a little bit more on the defensive side.
Exactly. I'd be curious to see what the call would have been here if it was a 1-1 game, for example. If he would have tried to maybe be a little bit more aggressive and come around that center guard, force McDonald to have to chase a little bit. Instead, kind of just pops open here.
Yeah, it's not a great result for him. He didn't get rid of the backing, and you rolled open, and you're not frozen to it. So you're just giving McDonald a chance to get another one in there and potentially be sitting two with at least one of them buried. This has to curl a long way, and they got a little bit extra weight on it from the looks of it.
To move that red. Looks like it did clear the rings. Unfortunately, under those center guards, though, behind the tees. So now you're kind of creating a catcher for yourself, for the other team to come down to it.
Yeah, it was a little good news, bad news. The good news being you got rid of the red. The bad news is you lost your other yellow. And then kind of in medium news, you roll buried, but like you said, behind the tee line. So if Team McEwen here can lob a guard right to the top of the button, it's going to be tough to get out of there.
Makes this freeze. We got to be careful. A game of mixed doubles might break out here.
Line looks okay. Should walk right over from the hog line in. Just want to get full 4 top button. Great scrub, but not quite enough.
At some point, if you're McDonald, you start looking at, picking out some of those. Like, yeah, you try and run this back potentially. Maybe you can roll your shooter over the correct weight on it.
Yeah, I think. I would be probably playing the run on the reds, trying to open it up. Even if you make this well, it's going to be tough to get more than 1 point out of it.
And McEwen's still going to have his own rocks to be running in if he wants to. These guards the center guard's always going to be your problem rock here if you're McDonald.
Don't ever want to bounce off. Maybe got away with it. If that rolls another inch or two, then McEwen's probably taking on the double. But
looks like he's talking about running this red straight back, clear that yellow out.
again, this is a bit of a scoreboard call just to not get yourself in any more trouble than necessary. So don't give them too much to play with or anything to get behind.
It's got to move. It's got to move over. Oof.
That was not ideal. Bit of bad luck there for McEwen. Just missed by an inch, but disaster result.
And you just buried the top 8 rock for McDonald, and I'm sure that rock in the back 4 foot is open, but still have to navigate a port to get to it.
Yeah, McEwen's always going to have 2 run backs, but now McDonald's just looking to spread everything out to make sure there's no easy doubles.
It's to utilize that corner guard once again. Sweepers really pounding this, making sure they get it there.
Around the guard, have to be basically full 12. And I'd say that is a success, but I'm surprised they're indicating for the hit and roll there. I thought Mike would be playing one of the run backs, because I'm thinking if you do it right, you can get a run back double, even maybe a run back triple.
Do you think he can maybe even roll right to that rock on the back 4 foot?
I think that's what he's calling, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Just considering the placement of all those yellows, running one of the reds back, you're almost guaranteed to get one of them. And if you execute just right, you can get 2 or even 3 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
He hit the center line red, just like he indicated, and just a little bit on the center line side. Just like that, and they could all go.
Yep. Right, come across the face of that back 4-foot rock. So that is what they're playing here.
It's close. Oh, that is really unlucky. Again, just a millimeter off and get nothing to show for it.
Yeah, you hit that 1 degree either way, and you're going to hit one of those 2 yellows. There was such a low chance to actually run straight through that gap from that angle.
Yeah, that is. You just can't believe it when when you're the skip and it makes no sound as it passes through the hole.
It's a very lonely feeling for everybody, both for the skip calling the line on that shot and for the thrower, wondering how in the world did nothing connect.
Yeah, and the worst part about the thrower in that case is I didn't throw it that bad. I was, like I said, a millimeter off, half an inch either way, and that's a pretty good shot, but the wrong point of contact. However, guard's out of the way. Now it should be an easier double until they put this one back.
Just trying to create a little bit of a Christmas tree over there. Kind of have, but you can still take your choice of a double, maybe even a triple.
Doubles are definitely there. You can definitely get 2 going, but then you're still looking at probably giving up 2, if not 3. So Mike's trying to figure out, how do I leave my shooter in the best position and ideally get rid of a couple of those yellows.
Looks like he's looking at the angles here on that most recent rock thrown. If he looks at it at that angle, he's going to lose his shooter. He should lose his shooter on that.
If he just a sliver high nose into the one on the top of the button, it's tough not to jam straight on the back 4-foot rock, but you could probably get 2 going for sure, and depending on how hard you throw it, you might get that second one spinning. Your shooter should stay because it's essentially a nose hit. That needed to curl up a little bit more, and like I said, the dead jam on the back one was not what they were looking for.
And now those top 2 rocks are basically impossible to double off here, so actually split up pretty nicely.
Yeah, Mike's gonna have to make a pretty good draw or freeze to bail his team out here. They haven't missed by much, but just kind of in the most unfortunate way. I think McDonald needs to just be careful not to put this in an easier double position.
Yeah, don't make the shot for Mike. Don't give him a chance to. They've come really close to making a couple of these shots. Don't reduce the amount of error that he can make here. Yeah, if you ever draw to that side,
I think you still have to. I liked the play around the center. Just even top 12, maybe half tucked behind that red. Because you know Mike's going to have to play a perfect freeze on that top 4-foot rock. And if you leave it for him, he's going to make it. And then you're going to have trouble getting more than 2.
and if they do draw to that open side, is Mike still, what do you think Mike's going to do in that point? Is he going to still probably try to play that freeze?
I think so. I mean, that's your comfort level. How comfortable are you throwing that perfect freeze against 4, which if you don't make could be 5? He could take on another hit and roll or something like that, but I imagine he'll probably play the freeze one way or the other. Like I said, if you throw one on the top 12 on the center line, take away that freeze, maybe McEwen makes a double, but you're still probably scoring 3. This is giving him an out, and we'll see if he can take advantage.
Jordon McDonald's first rock here in the third, trying to play to the open side here on the wing. Want to make sure it's deep enough that you don't give another double for them, which it will be.
Yeah, no hesitation there from Mike. Puts the broom down already. They knew they were going to be throwing that freeze. And this was always going to be the risk when you draw through the draw to the open side, that you knew Mike was going to take this on, and if he makes it well, it's going to be tough to. I mean, you could probably draw a 4-foot for a second point, but if you were looking at a 3 or a 4, now it might be just a single.
How much of that risk tolerance do you think changes based off of, the fact that it's 2 undefeated teams that, going to be moving on to the playoffs? Do you think that changes a little bit if there's, maybe an elimination at play?
It could. I think both of these teams know they're through the playoffs, and so in that case the pressure's off, but it doesn't mean you want to win any less. I just think that's maybe experience talking. I think almost giving McEwen's team too much respect if they bunch the red all the yellows together. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a great team and they'll probably make a couple of them go away, but there was never a shot that they were going to get all 4 of them going. But you're going to leave him this all day, and not quite good enough. There's still going to be a shot for 4. If that shot is a foot or 2 heavier, then it's a great result. But where it is pretty much useless, and you're going to see a draw to the 8-foot, and that'll be a handful for McDonald after giving up the 3. Strikes back with 3 or 4 of his own.
And based on the overhead, certainly looks like Red's out counting that 4th yellow rock, so should be a draw for 4 here. I'm sure they'll take a closer look, or McDonald will probably take a slightly closer look here at once Skip's rock comes to rest.
Anything better than half 8-foot, and that'll be a 4 on the board. They seem to like it. They're just walking it in.
Well, Made shot. And that is going to be a handful for Team McDonald here in the third end. So lots of big numbers going up onto the scoreboard here for the first couple ends. And we're going to head into the fourth, where Team McEwen will take the hammer back from the Saville Shootout here in Edmonton.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back to the fourth end, where we've got Team McEwen with the hammer against Team McDonald out of Manitoba. Find ourselves in the fourth end, a 4-spot from Team McDonald put up in the last end. So we've got a 5-3 lead for Jordon McDonald's rink.
Yeah, just a couple of microscopic misses by McEwen turned into a big number for McDonald, but still a lot of game left to play. Only down 2 with hammer in the fourth, so nothing to panic about for McEwen yet. But yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, that's what you like to see, especially from these young teams as they're trying to take that next step. That's really where the growth comes from. What if your opponent makes a mistake, making sure that you capitalize on those with made shots, and they're really making sure that they took advantage of every miscue.
And McEwen almost bailed him out with the good freeze, but comes up just a bit short. And like I said, if that goes even 6 inches farther, it cuts him down to probably 2. But not to be.
McEwen trying to come down, play to a freeze here on Daniel Marsh's second rock, and just bounces off a little bit. So a good freeze here from McDonald's, and they could have the angles really set up for to put some pressure on McEwen here early on in the fourth. This rock's got a long way to go to come back from.
Calling the audible, trying to go around it. Not what they were looking for. Actually makes it a better shot for McEwen.
This is the first time so far from this event that McEwen has allowed more than a point in a game. So definitely has hands full here in the last event of group play.
Yeah, just checking the stats here on Curling Zone. The hammer efficiency was 100%. That's a pretty good number.
And force efficiency also 100%. Those are good numbers to have.
Yeah, sorry, force efficiency was the one I was looking for. But yeah, they also You know you're having a good week when both those numbers are that high.
Angles are set up a little bit better now for McEwen, especially after that first the miss from I think it was Elias with that miss, just kind of bouncing off of that, making the corner freeze for Mike. So now chance to really get a bunch of reds loaded in here.
Yeah, interesting that McDonald's not even trying to rearrange those reds. I mean, there's nowhere they can really go, but you can at least move them to change up the angles a bit. They're trying to get a little tap on the yellow to maybe use the stagger of those reds. Interesting call. Over curling there.
Well, still shook up the angles a little bit, but like you said, interesting. It's kind of a funky setup where it's yellows on top of each other, reds on top of each other, and then that lone yellow on the side of the forefoot.
Yeah, it's not. Just doing the math here. I need my get out the angles, but I think the call here is probably try to nose the yellow as close as you can, get rid of one, and you're still going to sit 2, 3, 4 maybe.
Yeah, if you can do that, it's going to be Donald's going to have a little bit of a tricky time. He's really forcing him to play that hit on his then as well.
Yeah, and there is no, if you can get close to that center yellow guard, hit the yellow, and stay roughly there, there's going to be no easy double.
Yep.
I would say that's pretty good, but he played it with a soft weight. I would have probably thrown a little bit more, but as it stands, that one in the back of the forefoot there is actually going to be a catcher for a lot of things. So building a little bit of a wall back there.
I was just about to say, if you're McDonald here, do you ever try and run that back and hit those 2 reds right in the center? I think that's the only way to ever remove 2 reds here. Shake things up.
Yeah, I think that's the call. The center guard certainly isn't helping you right now, and if you ever run it into the pile, you can get a lot of reds moving. Essentially a nose hit.
Be interesting because both of those piles of both the red and the red yellow both angled straight towards that yellow in the back. So which of those rocks is going to get there first?
Looking for basically on the nose. He's close. Straight back.
One red eliminated, one yellow eliminated, and a red goes all the way out to the wing.
Pretty good result there. I think that's almost as good as you could have done. McEwen still sitting shot, buried with a bit of backing. So you see him try to put a little bit more pressure on right now, I think.
Just run those 2 yellows. If he makes that, as long as you hit that, if you hit the double, your rock's going to stick around. And give you something that you could potentially run back on a future rock as well.
I think by throwing this double, he's maybe trying to bring that biter red into play.
It's a well-made shot, especially after he had the narrow misses on the run back in the last end. Hits this one right on, doesn't need any window of error, makes it about as perfectly as you can make that shot.
Yeah, it feels good to make one of those after you're so close on a couple others, and even though it was a pretty straightforward shot, it's nice to just execute it the way you know you can.
I believe the quote goes, sometimes it's just nice to win one.
Yeah.
McDonald just trying to bump this red back, roll under that yellow guard, try to keep that biter out of play as much as possible. That's a pretty nice shot to do so.
Yeah, I'd say that's mission accomplished. Well done. Rolled under. Almost lines up the yellow-red to potentially set up a steal later, but Mike's going to have to get a second red in there pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like the decision's between the hit, roll under, or the freeze down to it. Like he's settling in on the hit and roll under the corner guard.
Looks like it's curling on him. They gotta hold it. Sneak it by. I think they were hoping for a little bit more of a roll there, but not a bad result.
Yeah, great hold from both the Marsh Twins to make sure that could not wreck on anything, at least get back to that rock. That's the primary objective, is make sure you get down to it. Do you think the draw, like a freeze right onto it, is there, or is that corner guard going to get in the way?
I think that it's there. Again, going back to that risk, what are you willing to take on, and how confident are you in that draw weight? Because it's one of those shots. It's great if you make it, but if you don't, you could be in a heap of trouble pretty quick. But as it stands, I think it might be the only option. The other option would be running the yellow and trying to give McEwen less to hide behind.
If you make the yellow really well, there is a slight chance of the double there, but it's a tough one to make. You got multiple angles you have to run back to hit that double.
It's definitely makeable, but you're right. It's, again, pretty precise, but the risk with the yellow is if you're off by an inch, you can just run back, peel, leave your guard there. Both yellows go, and you really haven't improved your situation at all. So it looks like they're taking on the draw, trying to put one right on the side of the button. Take advantage of that backing.
Like you said, there's some risk involved with the shot, but that's why skips make the big bucks. Or so they tell me. Sweeper seemed to like the weight.
Through the hole. No, it's going sideways.
Yep. Not a bad result. Still, I think Mike can pick that out if he chooses to here, but you're just going to leave the same shot back.
Yeah, you definitely have to move it. It's just a matter of if you throw a missile and try to pick a clean, you might lose the backing. If you throw it a little bit softer and try to poke it through the hole, you might be able to save your shooter, but I think with that ice, it looks like they're going to be throwing it hard.
McEwen's first rock here in the fourth, trying to pick this yellow out and sit 2.
Just needs to clip it. Trying to get a piece out the side door.
And that's how they do it.
He almost wanted to move that red off the back of the button. If you could have clipped it and just pushed it back a couple of feet, it would have been ideal. But you're just giving McDonald an opportunity to make the same shot a little bit better.
Yeah, anytime you can have someone throwing the same shot back to back, well, sometimes it's not always the best thing if you're having to throw the same shot back to back. It means you might not have made it the first time, but in this case, you know the weight, you know the line, you know how to manage this rock a little bit better now, especially after seeing how much that crashed on the previous rock.
This one looks a little tighter right out of his hand.
They're really going hard on line here. Can we get it around the yellow? No. It goes a little light there.
Yeah, I just don't think he was quite out to the broom, and maybe just didn't have a little that little poke on the release that would have given him a few more feet of slide. And just like that, could be another 3 on the board coming up for McEwen, and I'm gonna high-scoring game, typical for Football Sunday, but we're getting another field.
Field goals all over the place here. Hope you got McEwen and McDonald on your fantasy teams. And this will make sure that Mike keeps up his 100% hammer efficiency throughout the event. So that'll be a fun little stat to watch over the rest of this game and maybe the next couple games here as we get into the playoffs. Last rock here in the fourth. Mike just needs to get full 8 foot, right of the 8 foot to score 3.
Going hard. I think he's going to make it.
Great sweep from the front end. Well done.
Right to the top of the 4 foot. They weren't taking any chances on that one. So another 3 on the board for McEwen. Now he takes the lead right back after giving up the 4.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Welcome back to the Saville Shootout presented by Curling Stadium Edmonton. Again, my name is Ben Hoppe and I'm joined by Brian Schick from the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton, Alberta. We have back and forth haymakers being thrown here from team. So we've got a 6-5 lead for McEwen here in the fifth with hammer now for Jordon McDonald's rink.
Yeah, we've seen lots of rocks in play, and it's just been a matter of lining up the angles, and as is typical, usually every end works out a little bit better for one team than the other just based on the placement of those first couple of rocks. And first it was McEwen, and then it was McDonald, and then it was McEwen again. So like I said, back and forth for sure.
See if McDonald can respond with another counter punch of their own. And as we've seen so far in every end, we've got center guard followed by corner guard, assuming this gets over the hog line here.
It's over, but it's not very useful way up there. The way this ice curls, you can certainly get around that, so it's going to be more of a nuisance than anything else.
Think we ever see McDonald throw a second corner guard on their next rock here, potentially?
I think you almost have to. If you're hoping to get anything set up, you need a better guard than that.
Just walking this one down, get this thing into the top 8, top 4 under the center guard, and mission accomplished. Good pair from Daniel Marsh.
Yeah, and the thing with McDonald that you see a lot of club teams or less experienced teams will see that rock in the top of the forefoot and panic, thinking they have to deal with it right away. But the good teams will know that getting your end set up is going to be more important than dealing with that rock in the forefoot right away. You got 6 more shots after this where you can chase that forefoot rock, but it's not going to do any good if you don't have anything else to play with.
Exactly, and a much better corner guard here from the McDonald rink, from Cameron Olofsson. So now they've got some things to hide behind here out on the wing. And as you said, trust especially at this level of play, trust your shooters. You can throw run backs, you can make things here. You don't have to panic. There's plenty of rocks to be thrown. And as we've seen, sometimes some of the rocks that can help you are not necessarily the ones thrown by your team. You can't bank on the other team missing, but the beautiful thing about this game is it doesn't take much. It's a game of millimeters to maybe have something work in your advantage.
Yeah, we definitely saw that 2 ends ago. Just the millimeters, one way or the other, can make or break the the end, and so when you do get those breaks, you got to make them count.
So I've got double center guards at play all of a sudden here. All kinds of guards out front.
Now we see McDonald making a play on that 4-foot shot, and now there's lots up front to play with, and not necessarily your shots that you have to use, but there's definitely things to get behind if you do it well.
Well done to at least carve that rock over, chip it out so it's not sitting directly buried. Not quite what was called, but it's a good way to at least make something out of a throw. You can utilize that rock later.
Yeah, they poked the red out, so you'll have a cleaner look at that, but unfortunately the shooter rolls wide open, and McEwen's going to deal with that.
Unfortunately for McEwen, that rock kind of just peeked out the other side of those guards. So now an opportunity for Jordon McDonald to make use of those corner guards that he has in play.
Yeah, it rolled open, but it's not the worst because of the Christmas tree stagger. And this one looks like it's gone already.
Oh, man.
You have to assume that grabbed or picked right out of his hand, but it kind of took a funny rotation there.
Always unfortunate when that happens. Unfortunate reality of the game sometimes. On the flip side, that result, I mean, it's not obviously not ideal to have that happen there, but at the very least, you chipped out one of the center guards, rolled it to another corner. So if you do ever get anything behind it, it's well protected.
Yeah, it wasn't a total loss, but obviously you probably thought you deserved a little bit better.
Christmas tree is fully buried under the stagger here, so.
Yeah, I think McEwen would have liked to leave those two guards a little farther away from each other, but there was always going to be a double on them.
He's got to be just a little careful here that he doesn't just hit this right on the nose, right? Otherwise, he's kind of just leaving a guard right there as well.
Yeah, he's got... Might only be getting, got them both, but like you said, it's too close to the nose and just stayed right there in the way.
I don't know that he could have hit that a whole lot more on the center line side and still gotten both guards out though either. It's kind of a tricky spot.
McEwen looking to twist the knife a little bit, throw another one in there, top 12, buried.
That seems to be pretty close here.
Maybe left it an inch short, but it doesn't really matter. It's more of a guard than a counter anyway.
Yeah. Highly doubt that rock will be there by the end of the end at least. But it will do its job to at least protect those Reds in the back. Oh, run back attempt here.
Mission accomplished for McEwen. That putting that rock where they did meant that any run back was going to leave the shooter. I don't think you really need to overthink this. You could put it right back where it was. It'd be a pretty good spot.
Absolutely. Do you ever play the other side here, just to try and see if you can kind of maybe stash a corner of it under that yellow?
I think that's what they're debating, is that if you could cover a little bit more of the Reds, that would be ideal. And obviously the easier way to do that is with the clockwise turn, but it's just harder to navigate considering where those high yellows are. Remember I said earlier that it's going to be a nuisance later on. This is taking away that the easier path. So I think you'd love to be kind of just poking out from behind that center line yellow, but getting there is the hard part.
Some discussion of just blocking off the 4-foot, seems like, on all sides. And back to where we were, looking at the top 12 again.
Yeah, you've got a couple of options here. Even I would try to throw about the same shot. Just try to bite, top 12 on the center line. If you over curl and kind of poke out the other side, that's great. If you leave it a little high and take away a chunk of the 4-foot, that's good too. I think the important thing is know what you're trying to do. You can't have so many options that you get caught in the middle of all of them.
Yeah, and I feel like coming into, they briefly looked at, can we just draw in and really block off the 4-foot? Part of me feels like it's just one rock too soon for that. I feel like you just leave that for the last shot.
If you can freeze one right on top, split the center line, freeze on top of the red, they'd be pretty good at this point because yellow's running out of time to move them all.
Well, either way, it is a tricky predicament here for Jordon McDonald, so he's going to have an adventure to navigate in his last two rocks. But first, we're going to see first of Mike Skipstones here.
Right into the pile, it looks like.
Yep.
And left a little space, which I actually like. It makes any combination on those reds really difficult, considering the pieces you could see.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, if a well-made run back here, I don't know that you ever get more than two. You can get all three rocks moving, but I don't think you're ever going to get all three out here with a well-made run.
I think it's even tough to get two going. Your first and your second are almost always going to be jam jobs, and your last one will go, but it will be tough to get more than two, that's for just missed. I think if that stays a quarter of an inch higher, you might have gotten the second one to go, but just grazed it on the way by.
Does kind of remove a little bit of, now I'm sure the stagger's going to come back, but creates a little bit more space on the button for his last shot. So, I mean, I'm assuming they're just going to be playing on Burns' last, just going to be playing that counterclockwise draw.
Yeah, that was pretty much always going to be the case. It was looking like that was shaping up about 6 shots ago.
Yeah.
The only way that McDonald was going to score is put it on the pin.
Yep, just moving that one over just creates a little bit more space. Now, obviously, you still have to navigate your now the rock you just threw that run back, but it moves enough, it finishes hard enough that as long as you clear that yellow, you're still going to be perfectly fine getting around it.
Yeah, if Mike can get one in the way here, then it'll be forced to draw a good chunk of the button to score. Say mission accomplished there, and here comes your draw to the pin.
Just needed to make sure he took any of those reds off. I guess the depth of it didn't really matter a whole lot, and took advantage of that. Really well made shot from McEwen. And a big piece of the button here to make sure that he gets his one for Jordon McDonald. No sweepers on it early. It never gives you much confidence.
Never the best feeling, but sometimes they can drag it. Line's all right, but I don't know if it's got the legs.
Not quite. So just about 1.5 feet short of where he needed it to be. So that is going to be a steal of 2 for Team McEwen here in the 5th. So McDonald will have a chance with hammer once again here as we move into the 6th then at the Saville Shootout in Edmonton, Alberta.
Gripper first.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Thanks again for joining us here. We are in the 6th end of the Saville Shootout. We have Team McDonald versus Team McEwen. The hammer stays with Team McDonald after McEwen stole 2 in the 5th. And that leads us to see a little bit of a different play from the get-go here in the 6th end.
Yeah, I was about to predict that you'll see McEwen shifting into a little bit more of that defensive mode, and you see it right away, bringing play into the 4-foot instead of throwing the center guard. McDonald, however, still forced to try to throw that corner. He needs a big score to stay in this game.
You think this will be a situation where we maybe see like a double corner guard setup for the McDonald rink?
Yeah, I think so. That forces McEwen to put his 3rd rock somewhere, and then you've got your 2 corners, 3 rocks to play with. That's how you're going to generate a bigger score. I think the mistake at this point is going to the house too early, and then McEwen can just start hitting.
Yep, sure enough. So we've got start with an in-turn corner guard. Now we have the out-turn corner guard. And just a reminder for everyone, all sheets are being streamed through Curling Stadium, and all games are available to watch on the Curling Stadium Edmonton and Curling Zone YouTube channels. So after this game's done, find your favorite team's game on the Curling Zone YouTube channel. Just check out the playlist and search for their team name. It's always great to have this much curling available to watch, especially early on in the season. People are just starting to get the bug back. It's always fun to have so many games to be able to choose from.
Yep, no shortage of play. All of the U25 was streamed last week too, so there was loads of curling on, and from here on out, basically every weekend until Christmas, you'll find something to watch.
I believe the last draw of the women's group play, I believe, is still to go yet tonight, and then I think we have playoffs all day tomorrow for the shootout. So sure enough, we've got double quarter guards. McEwen came in on their first 2 and then throws a center guard here on their 3rd rock.
Yeah, and that's the rock that McEwen never knows, like, and not just Mike, but it's so frustrating because you want to do anything but throw a guard there. And because if you're trying to play defense, you want to keep things clean. What you do with that 3rd rock when you're trying to play defense is always a bit of a challenge, and so now it's good for McDonald when you got the other team throwing guards that they don't want.
It's the beauty of the 5 rock rule. It takes a lot for a team to get out of it, especially down 3 in the 6th. There's still plenty of time left. Just maybe a hair light, just crashes on that center guard.
Not a bad result, though. Now you've got double corners on both sides, and you might be able to do something with that, but I think Mike's going to go ripping.
Looks like they're actually going to put a center guard back here. Mike just wants to make sure we have some fun.
Yeah, seriously. It definitely makes it a little less predictable. I thought he indicated that he was going to call for the double peel on the yellows, but I think he changed his mind.
Does get over. It just gets over enough. Nothing to play through here, so now it's run back time.
And just misses, off by a sliver.
Oh man, that is just so well thrown shot. Just sometimes you just can't get the bounces you need.
Now Mike is just going to step on the gas and be like, well, I've got my 2 pretty much wired. If I keep throwing guards, you're going to have to do something special to score.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how quickly you get that flip from the guards helping the team with hammer to suddenly the guards are really starting to hurt the team with hammer.
Eventually, you just turn into, we said that you might want to play defense, you might keep it clean, but defense by scoring a couple of points is pretty effective as well.
Good defense is definitely one that can score some points. It's true on the football field. It's true on the ice as well.
Taking on the run back once again.
There we go. Nice shot. And got all 3. Beautifully thrown shot.
Great execution on that one. And now he's still got a lot of guards to play with, but McEwen not in any trouble yet, so he's going to try to be first one in there.
Marsh's really going hard on this to make sure they get this as far as they can.
The line's really nice. They just have to finish it now. Get the distance. Looks pretty good.
There you go. See a run here. Nope, just going to come down to it. Wasn't sure if they maybe just try and see if they could run their own straight back, but
I think I'd be tempted to play the run back. If you don't make it, at least you're going to open it up.
And he just threw it. No chance for him to throw the same shot with probably a little less weight, but so I'm just going to try and probably sit on the corners. I just feel like it's a little late to be trying to play the angle game.
Yeah, I mean, where that red stopped, I think the line to the button is almost choked off already, so you're almost forced to freeze tap on that red. You can't get past it.
And lights. Dallas Burgess not thrilled with himself, leaving that one short. Supers did all they could with it. And they kind of half buried their yellow rock as well. Makes any of those run backs pretty tough now.
Yeah, there's really no angles there.
I know we talked about it at the beginning, but it does bear repeating. This is a young team that's had a lot of success over the past year and a half. Just last year, they were top-ranked top Manitoba team out of 2, I think, teams that came into the Canadian Juniors, and went 7-1 in pool play. Lost to the other Manitoba team, skipped by Jace Freeman in the quarters. So this is a team that's been on the up and up, and just winning the U25 Next Gen Classic last week. So this is a team that's they've shown a lot. Even in this game today, they've shown a lot. They can hang with the top teams.
Yeah, I actually spoke to Jordan after the U25, and he was saying that this, obviously their first year in 3 of the 4 of them have aged out from the junior level, so they still have 1 eligible junior player, but because it's only 1, he didn't want to break up the team on that account, so he's kind of forfeited his last year of juniors, and all 4 of them have dived right into the men's game, and so they're obviously no stranger to competition, but nothing like running into Mike McEwen in your first men's event.
Iron sharpens iron, right? I think that's it's a great thing too. You see them kind of foregoing that, even though the one player has that leftover chance there, 1 year left of eligibility for juniors. I think there's something to be said for having consistency in the roster, especially for younger teams. But that consistency for those teams, I think, just is so huge to. It's going to be their best chance of success early on, is to have that opportunity to be with the same people, know how each other operates, know how to communicate with each other. And I think that's going to breed success.
I'm sure these guys have played Mike McEwen in the past, all being Winnipeg teams. So I'm sure it's not the first time, but this is the first time as men's level curlers.
It'll be fun to see how they do in the gauntlet that is the Manitoba Playdowns this year.
Look at this one warp right in.
Great shot from Mike McEwen.
No hesitation, because there's nothing to lose here, really. McDonald immediately indicated they're playing a run back on the center line, yellow, trying to stick it on the one that Mike just threw.
Which they didn't really have a shot on a run back of anything until he threw that rock, actually. So actually gave them something to work with, because I don't really know. It's really hard to tell from the overhead if they have an angle on the one that was on the center line or not, or the red on the center. But as soon as that rock came back there, it created a usable angle for him.
Yeah, you never want to make the shot for him or give him something easier, but if his only option is a 12-foot angle run back and to stick it, just potentially get a point, I don't think Mike's too distraught over that.
No, I think you're right. Keep this out there.
I was going to say he was over curling, but he's pretty close.
That's right on. Great shot.
Wow. Very nicely done, and he played it with the softer weight too, just to make sure that they had a little control with the brooms. And great shot.
Fantastic weight control there. Yeah, absolutely. That was make sure everything sticks around, rolls just a hair inside. Is Mike just going to try and follow it right down? Basically play the same shot he just played?
Yeah, I think so, just to take away any easy shot for two.
As easy can get with 7 guards in the front of the house?
Yeah, broom on the sideline. Not sure what happened there. Might have been a pick, or gave up on it pretty quick.
So now Jordon going to try and draw around everything. Gets full 8 foot. That'll give them a score too. Out of nowhere, seemingly.
Yeah, that would be a surprising deuce, but would have earned it with that first shot.
I think on that last rock, Colton might have. I think he burned the rock by the looks of it. Just made a little bit of contact, so good on him for calling that out. No, he's probably disappointed with himself, but I just love to see the sportsmanship and honesty come out.
It's one of those things that happens time to time, and there's never a good time for it, but all you've done is left the window open for a potential second point here from Jordon McDonald. Full 8 here. It looks like he's got it.
Great shot. So wonderful job getting a 2 after having a lot of rocks under guard. So a 2 from Jordon McDonald. And we will go on to the 7th end with Mike McEwen up 1 with hammer.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here for the Saville Shootout. Welcome to those of you who are joining us. I think quite a few people jumped over from the Kevin Cooey game, so hello to those of you who have joined us. We've got Battle of the Unbeatens here as 4-0 Team McEwen taking on 4-0 Team McDonald. We've had just haymakers thrown back and forth. No shortage of scoring, which I'm all for, as we go in here to the 7th end, Team McEwen having hammer.
Yeah, that last end, it looked like McEwen was about ready to put the finishing blow on, and great shot from Jordon McDonald sets up the skipper's deuce and keeps his team alive. So, like you said, back and forth battle here, but lots of rocks in play and some brilliant shot making, keeping us entertained.
And again, as we get later in the game, at the beginning of the game, we saw a lot of the center guard, corner guard setup, and now the last couple ends, as we've gotten closer and inching closer towards the end of the game here, we've seen a little bit of a shift. Now we see center guard and McEwen drawing under, kind of a difference in strategy here at this point for McEwen. Obviously, he's either looking to score a multiple or ideally get a blank to bring hammer into the 8th, I would think.
Yeah, he's playing this a little bit more conservatively by throwing that first one in the house instead of the corner. Potentially giving himself the option to bail out a little bit sooner and maintain that blank opportunity. Like you said, holding on to the hammer into the 8th with a 1-point lead would be ideal for him. Never a bad thing when you can sit 2 in the top of the 4-foot and 8-foot double buried, and now Jordon McDonald has to chase a little bit.
Not the first time today. I've said a great pair from Daniel Marsh. He's been crushing it today out of the lead position. So now, if you're Team McDonald here, Brian, what do you see? What do you see them trying to do here? Because obviously they're trying to get a force, or a steal, but I think probably a force so they can get hammer back in the 8th. What can you do, from their part to try and ensure that you can get a force without giving up a bundle?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. The more aggressive you get, obviously, the more easily it can backfire on you in a big way. So, obviously, you want the rocks in play, and it's all about positioning. Like we keep saying, those angles have to be set up to your benefit, not the other team. And a little miscue there from Elias Humnicki. Chiseled the center guard, and now it'll probably be difficult to even maintain the force. McEwen already looking like he's set up to put a multiple on the board.
Yeah, it seems like very much McDonald's going to be probably just trying to get as much damage control as he can at this point. Where things are starting to set up here.
So looks like he's going to go into the house, try to rattle those around, and like I said, try to get those angles set up so the yellows are tougher to remove.
They were saying this maybe it was up weight a little bit. Gotta carve this over, hold the line. Lots of back and forth here for the front end.
The line looks okay. Got a little tap on it. I think that's basically what they asked for.
Try and play the double by the looks of it, so we can get both those yellows out.
Yeah, the other option would be he's considering peeling the guard too.
When in doubt, peel the guard.
Yeah, Mike does not want this any more complicated than it needs to be, so getting rid of that guard and open things up makes it a lot simpler for everybody.
It's a great lesson, I think, a lot of times especially for club curlers. Anytime you can, maybe sometimes you get hyper focused on the house and you start to lose focus on what's in front of the house that's actually causing you the real problems, or what could cause you the biggest problems when you get down to skips rocks. So it's a really great lesson kind of put in play there. Just I'm not sure what to do. There's a guard out front, and you're not going to hurt yourself, especially with Hamburg here getting rid of that.
Yeah, and sometimes, I think you said it earlier, sometimes you just have to look around and say, what rock is causing me trouble over here? And very frequently it's one sitting on the center line, but sometimes that's in the house and sometimes it's 10 feet out front.
And you know it was a rock that was causing you a problem when you get rid of it, and the other team just puts it right back.
At some point, McDonald will have to make a move on that, on the two reds in the 4-foot, but for now they're content to waste a couple of McEwen stones by just replacing that center guard.
You just have to be careful, right, that you don't make that move too soon. Because if you make that move too soon, you could just as easily end up with a blank, to really kind of take yourself away from that. So you have to, timing is everything. When you decide to make that aggressive play into those reds.
Yeah, we're on the second vice stones right now, second shot, and you have to assume that it might take you 2 shots to get yourself set up. So You don't necessarily have to do it now, but you definitely have to go on your next one.
I was just going to ask what kind of weight you would recommend throwing here if you want to, yeah, exactly. What kind of weight you wanted to bring at this?
Looks like they're going, that little hip tap is usually about a bumper board weight. So not a ton, just to want to kind of rattle those reds around, keep your yellows in play. Might not even remove the reds.
Reds behind the tee could be potentially helpful for you.
You got to keep the angle. Keep it on the high side. And it does. That's pretty good result.
Really good shot. Just kind of flops right on top of the other red here. I really like that a lot.
Now this is a question of, did they do it too soon? Because if you had maybe thrown the guard, they peel the guard, and you do that on your next shot, Mike doesn't have quite as much time to recover.
Exactly, especially when you're really just trying to see if you can get him to force, because this is your force setup right here. But starts blowing this up, that force setup might go away.
This hangs on at the back, but honestly, that could make a difference later on. Mike might be a little more inclined to take on that short run back to get rid of the yellow, knowing that he's got another counter hanging on at the back.
Looking at maybe trying to see if he can use that stagger as a little bit of a guard, possibly.
Yeah, it certainly is curling enough where you could lob a draw in there and try to hang it off the back of the button. You get mostly buried, I think, or a good half anyway. I think your other option would be put one right almost where he was tapping his broom, an inch tucked behind that top red on the, just by maybe biting the 8-foot. Take away the run back, take away any chance to get at that angle.
And at some point, you're starting to think too about what's my win probability with, and both teams are thinking this. What's my win probability based off of how this end shakes out? McEwen's thinking, what's my win probability with force, with the steal? Obviously, things are different if Mike's scoring multiple here. But at some point, you start to think through a little bit of what are the numbers looking at in this situation.
Yeah, Mike really doesn't necessarily want to take one here. You might rather give up the one and hold on to the hammer.
Just trying to take out this top red, I think, and then roll over. Now comes that battle of who's gonna what outcome are we searching for here? The blank is basically out of play. How aggressive does Mike want to be? Potentially bringing that red at the, that biter potentially comes into play if he ever plays a hit on this one. It's kind of this cat and mouse game a little bit.
Yeah, this is one where I'd be tempted to hit the one in the forefoot, lose the red backing, and maybe try to roll towards the other yellow. Maybe, I mean, perfect world, you can get in behind it, but that yellow rock, we keep saying, what's the problem rock? It's that yellow one that's frozen to the red. So I'd be dealing with that one first, and then you might have an easy shot for 2 later on. But I guess this is Mike putting the pressure back on McDonald, saying, okay, well, what are you going to do?
Game within the game, in a way. You're trying to figure out what shot do I want them to play, what shot do I want to play. Just trying to play both of those scenarios. All right, now here we go. So the made shot from Mike McEwen, flopping over just a hair up to the right here. I feel like it's tough for McDonald. It's got to hit this very carefully to not leave a double back for Mike, right?
Yeah, I think that's what McEwen's thought process was. If he leaves it there, McDonald has to do something with it, and it's really tough to leave 2 yellows in a spot where there's going to be no double chance. And worst case, Mike's still going to have an easy shot for 1. So it could be a double for 2 or 3, but it's all depending on where the shooter ends up. Even if he hits it and rolls under the red guard on the right side there will be a double.
It's going to get a pretty healthy piece of that now. It's actually a pretty nice spot to leave. There is a slash here for Mike.
Yeah, you probably lose your shooter if you make the double, but it's still going to be for 2. And then this is one of those, even if you happen to jam it or, you only get 1, you give them their 1, you take hammer into the 8th, and you're still pretty happy.
Yep, absolutely. So slash for Mike here. Made shot, gets 2. Only thing he can't do is miss everything, and I would be wildly shocked if that were to happen.
Playing it with softer weight than I thought. I mean, not the bullet I expected.
Oh no!
He's got a chunk of it.
All right, he got a piece of it. So will be a steal of 1 here for Jordon McDonald, and an entertaining game stays entertaining. So Mike McEwen will keep the hammer going into the 8th end, all knotted up at 8.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Back in the 8th end is underway here from the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton. We've got a fun game. We've just deuces all over the place, threes all over the place, we even had a score of 4. So we've got a knotted up game at 8 here in the 8th end. Certainly been entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a few times where I thought this thing was over, and that McDonald team just keeps hanging around. So it was very nearly over in the 6th, but Jordon made a lovely run back to stick it and set up a deuce and kept them alive. And here we are with the tie game in the 8th. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, that Skip's deuce in the 6th was about as good as you can ask for just from a setup perspective of making that beautiful downweight run back to sit 1, and then obviously just making his draw on the last. That's what you love to see, especially from an up and coming team like this McDonald team. And now that we're tied in the 8th, that means it's steal or go home here for McDonald. Well, not go home, I suppose. It's steal or lose at this point. They are going to be going on to play in the playoffs here, as both teams are undefeated.
They've got their 2 center guards touching the center line, so no tick rule in effect.
Especially with that red, the first rock from Daniel Marsh being, coming a little bit deep, it's really important to make this rock well.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Yep.
I don't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of debate from McEwen for the next few shots. Should be getting rid of those guards and try to keep things as clean as possible.
Give yourself the easiest possible shots on your final shots. And hopefully for McEwen, trying to make sure that Jordon McDonald has nowhere to hide once we get to the end of the end here. So tried to carve that one over, get a little bit of a bounce off.
I think because of that little bounce, Mike is tempted to deal with it right away, but I think he has opted for the obvious one, which is peel the guards.
Does clear both center guards, moves around his rocks off of the 4-foot, but does open it up though.
Yeah, it's a little good news, bad news, but I think overall he's probably okay with that, considering the guards are out of the way and that 4-foot situation is a little less complicated.
at least for now, it's still early in the end, but for now you're forcing play to one half of the sheet, which worst case scenario, you're still leaving that left side open for draws at this point. Things are probably going to get shaken around too over the next few rocks, but worst case scenario, you still got half the sheet open to him. That guard does leave a peak of those yellows out here, but
yeah, I think Mike's just going to be happy to ideally get the double peel. If you get really lucky, that red might get sent straight back into the yellows, but just try to keep it clean, give yourself some options. Like you said, hopefully you leave something easy for your last one.
And double peel made. Shot from Kevin Marsh. Assuming we'll probably see guard peel for the next couple rocks here, yeah?
Yeah, it's likely, unless assuming the guards are made well. I think as soon as a little too much of those two in the house is showing, you'd see Mike take a crack at them, but as long as the guards are decent, then I agree with you.
Peeling this looks like he motioned just to, if we ever get a clip a piece of one of those yellows, that's perfectly fine. Straight run back.
Yeah, it's the worst result. That was the danger of even taking on any bit of that run back. If you're off by half an inch, then you don't get the run back and you leave a guard.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see them play the out turn there and not the in turn. In turn, you're at least going to get a bigger roll with your shooter off to the side. Now pressure is on, especially with a made shot here from Dallas Burgess. Down and talk about it a little bit more. So obviously you can tuck a guard, right? What are some other options that they might have?
Guarding the draw path, if you could ever put it in a spot where there's no easy double on the guards, if you could take away the draw path, because that's still a good 10 or 12 foot run back that McEwen would be taking on. So if you do that, you might make the double run easier. I think you have to do it, or even something just a little closer to the center line, kind of mix up the angles.
Yep.
And the other option would be the guard where he just had his broom just to plug the hole right there. But yeah, then the double peel takes away all of that. So few options, but I think for now you gotta tuck another one behind that red.
Yeah, because if anything hits that top yellow, they're both going. With any kind of weight anyways, they're both going on that. So take any, a little bit of that red run back angle, prevent McEwen from having a chance to throw that. It's great.
I think you do this one for now. And assuming that he doesn't make the perfect double run back, then you can guard the other path on the next one. think the perfect spot for this is maybe just like half buried, just short of the house.
Short of the house, or even like, yeah. Don't get
Maybe
too
just
close to that
biting.
red, right? Yeah, don't get too close to that red guard, so you leave an easier little peel, right?
Yeah, right where his broom is right there. Got to create some separation between the guards. They would have preferred that about 4 feet further, I think.
Yeah, so now he's got a few different options. Just kind of take his pick of what he would prefer to do. If he'd prefer to do a double peel, you have to be a little careful on the double peels just to not leave another guard in place with the way those angles are set up, or you have a run back.
Not a lot of hesitation, I think.
And the yellow
Going
run.
for the run back.
And cleared all three. Nice fancy
Great job.
footwork there on the side, too, to make sure that yellow didn't bounce back in. And kept on sweeping as well. That's the skill that you don't see out of the back end players.
I don't know if I would have called that, but if you make it, hey, it's great. I think I thought the double peel was going to be the more obvious call there, but they saw the run back and they liked it. And
yeah, my only hesitation with that double peel was the fact the angles are set up. You have to hit it really carefully to still not stuff a rock and leave one there, whether it's your shooter or that red that was at the top. So, I mean, when you make the shot like that, it's obviously the correct call.
The only downside for McEwen is that there's still some guards to play with, and Jordon McDonald here is going to try to sink another one in there.
It seems like, for the most part, from Jordan, we've seen made shot after made shot this game. So he's looked really strong throughout the course of this game. Chance to put some pressure onto Mike McEwen here going into Skip's Rocks.
I think he missed one in the first end, but that's about it.
It's a really nice shot. Might peek out a hair on the outside, but nope, that's about as good as you can make that, I think.
Yeah, I think so. The only issue is that guard is high enough that you can probably come at it from either side with a soft weight. Or if you can ever nut the run back.
Just comes down to what does Mike feel the most comfortable throwing at this point. Like it's a scenario where whatever shot is the most comfortable for the Skip is the correct shot to call.
I think if I was Mike McEwen and I was throwing this, I think the run back or peel, right? So if you just miss the run back, make sure your shooter gets out of there. Would be the option, because then Jordon McDonald has to throw either a perfect guard or another, probably just another guard. But
And it looks like Colton was kind of pointing out those rocks on those two corner guards on the left side there as we're looking down the sheet. That kind of gets in your draw path as well. If you ever wanted to get to the button on the intern, those rocks are right where you need them not to be for any kind of path in.
yeah, exactly, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards the run back. At least you're going to open up that side of the sheet. and he's got to throw a really good guard to make sure that you don't have a look at it. And if it's off by an inch on either side, you should have a chance to get rid of that red or yellow rather.
So it seems that is what they are aiming for here. And if this ever floats out a hair wide, I almost wonder if you could get a little bit of a roll towards those corners, just to shake those around a little bit, maybe open up that draw path if you get a little bit cheeky with it.
Yeah, that's the issue is when these guys miss, they don't miss by much. You know, in the club game, you might miss by half a rock, and you get that result you're talking about. But I have a feeling if Mike's throwing a run back, he's only ever going to miss it by half an inch on either side, which doesn't really afford you the same number of options. Looks like he's trying to play it thin and then rattle the other stuff around.
Yeah. Ooh. Good catch. Tell you what, these front enders, man, they are catching everything out there. So it does open up. Now he can't guard. McDonald can't guard both shots. So McEwen's got a shot either way. He's either got the hit or the draw in. So really nice play there. Instead of just playing straight run back to try and get to it, making sure that he has a shot. Outside of the guard, are there any other shots that they could have called here that would have made life tough on Mike? The only thing I could see was trying to play a super precise freeze so that your yellow acted as a catcher under that red, but I still don't know that was really beyond that.
I think they toyed with the idea of playing a little tap on the yellow and just try to line them up so if you take on the double, it jams on the back red. The other option would be just throw like that kind of freeze tap you were talking about, or leave one 2 or 3 feet short of that yellow. But I think they just settled on the guard, just shy of the house.
They've been throwing these guards all in, so they have that weight and line down to a science here, and guard is made right on.
I'd say that is pretty much perfect. Left enough distance that there's no easy run back, and he couldn't have lined it up in front of that other yellow any better.
So straight draw to the button here for Mike McEwen.
Well, regardless of the outcome here, you got to give credit to the McDonald team for hanging in. Like I said a couple minutes ago, they looked like McEwen was about to deliver the knockout punch a few different times, and they just kept scrapping and kept hanging in, and now he's got a draw for a piece of the button for the win, basically.
Exactly, and this is a really resilient game from them. They had that force in the first, you give up the 3 in the second, and immediately just punch right back with the 4, and even after giving up a few extra points, just making sure they could claw their way back in. So really nice game from them overall, and especially when you're playing a top team in the world like Team McEwen, making the skip throw their last rock and throw a precise draw to the button on their last, that's a pretty great game from their opponents in any scenario.
Obviously, they've been playing well all week if they made it this far without a loss. So this game was a clear indication of that they're certainly capable.
It's going to be fun to see what they do in the playoffs, but first we have to see how it ends up for seeding. So the last rock from Mike here in the 8th needs a piece of the button here for the win, or full forfeit to win.
Sweepers on, off, all the way down. You tend to like that. Line looks okay. Just got to stop. Ooh, this looks a little spicy.
And just heavy coming through, so that means that we get the win for Team McDonald. They go undefeated in group play and give Mike McEwen his first loss of the Saville Shootout. What a fantastic game from both teams, back and forth game. No shortage of drama here today, Brian.
Yeah, well done by Team McDonald. That, like I said, hanging in, and the real scrappy display there, but strong finish, and you made him throw the shot, and sometimes you get the breaks. So great game, and we'll see, like you said, how they move on to the playoffs, and that'll be I guess all day tomorrow. So tune into Curling Stadium, and we'll see you there.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the shootout.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.